It's, it's talking about what happens when the narcissist loses a super empath, and it's going to show you how and why the narcissist can't recover. I thought it was really in depth. We're going to listen to it together. Y'all come on in, hit the like button. Let's go. I need to put it in the description. I will after the video, guys. I'll let y'all know who this is, who's teaching.
There is a particular kind of silence that follows the end of relationship with a super empath. Not the silence of peace, not the silence of resolution. It is the silence of someone standing in the ruins of something they themselves destroyed, slowly realizing that what they burned down cannot be rebuilt. The narcissist knows this silence. They live inside it. And no matter how many new people they pull close, no matter how many fresh sources of admiration they surround themselves with, that silence follows them everywhere they go. Because what they lost was not just a person. What they lost was the only mirror that ever showed them something real. Most people who study narcissism approach it from the outside. They talk about what the narcissist does to others, the manipulation, the gaslighting, the cycles of idealization and discard. And all of that is true. All of that is real, and it matters deeply. But today we are going inside. We are going to look at what happens inside the narcissist's mind, inside their psychology, after they betray a super empath. Not because they deserve sympathy, but because understanding their collapse is the final piece of the A welcoming space, a smart approach to technology, and exhilarating drive. Puzzle that the super empath needs to fully heal and fully move on. When you understand why the narcissist cannot recover, you stop waiting for them to. You stop looking over your shoulder. You stop wondering if they are okay. And you finally completely let go. So let us begin with the question that most people never stop to ask. What was the super impact actually giving the narcissist that no one else could? The narcissist runs on what psychologists call narcissistic supply, external validation, attention, proof from the outside world that they are special, that they matter, that they exist. Without this supply, they do not simply feel bad, they unravel. Their sense of self is so thin, so manufactured, that without constant reinforcement from others, it begins to dissolve. This is why they never stop performing. This is why every room they enter becomes a stage. They are not arrogant because they think too highly of themselves. They are arrogant because they feel nothing about themselves at all. And they need you to feel something for them so they can borrow it. But here is what most people miss. Not all supply is the same. There is a hierarchy to it. There is a difference between cheap supply and rare supply. And most people in the narcissist life give them the cheap kind, surface level admiration, reactions to the performance, applause for the mask. The narcissist consumes it quickly and needs more because it never actually satisfies anything. It is like trying to quench thirst with salt water. The more you drink, the thirstier you become. Then the super empath enters the picture and everything changes. The super empath does not fall for the performance. Not entirely, they see the performance. Yes, but they also see through it. And this is what makes them categorically different from everyone else the narcissist has ever encountered. The super empath has a perception that borders on the supernatural. They can feel the wound underneath the grandiosity.
Oh my God, did y'all hear that? This is so deep. Y'all hit the like button. So I'm gonna talk about what he just said. He said the super empath can feel the wound underneath the grandiosity. The super empath can feel the wound underneath the grandiosity. So this meaning that we can supernaturally, he just used that word too, supernatural. I'm gonna use this word spiritual. It's very spiritual, right? The ability to see that what we've been calling, what I've said, I told y'all about a vision that I had years ago when y'all welcome to my live. My name is Cheryl Grabowski, and this is a place where empaths get together and we talk about narcissistic abuse. And tonight I'm sharing a video with you guys. And so yeah, so he was just saying that the super empath can see the wounding or the wound of the narcissist or the childhood pain. We see that underdeveloped child. And I had a vision years ago where I saw a little boy in a room sitting in a corner on the floor with his head towards his knees, and he had his arms wrapped around his legs. He was backed up in a corner. And I intuitively saw that. And this is what this guy is explaining. What is his name? This is coming from uh it's called At Rise Hub. All right. And so I just want to let y'all know that as a super empath, and for you other ones who are super empaths, that things are going to get better. I'll say it this way. Let's listen to what else he has to say. Who else is here? Who is Art? Hey, Art. You say Monica. Hello, guys. Listen.
You can sense the terrified child hiding beneath the controlled.
Oh my God, he just sit there and say, as a super empath, we sense the terrified child. Last night in the live that we did, I talked about this already. I talked about underneath all of that stuff that the narcissist does is this fear, because they are very fearful people. And last night I was telling you guys about how you got to push fear out of the way and use courage. And one of the things, one of the biggest billboards, if a person that you know that you're dealing with, they're always afraid and scared of everything. I don't know. It could be, that's not good. Listen.
Domineering adult. They can detect the profound shame buried under the polished surface. And instead of running, which is what a healthy response would eventually demand, they stay. They offer something to the narcissist that no one has ever offered before. They offer to see the real person.
Oh my God, that is so deep.
And love them anyway.
Did y'all hear that? What the super empath does? They see the narcissist wound, they see the broken inner child, and most healthy people at that point, they turn away, they go away. They're not going to have anything to do with the narcissist as a healthy person. But the super empath sees the wounding, sees the brokenness, and they say, I'm gonna love you anyway. Listen.
Narcissist, this is not just supply. This is resurrection. Think about what it means to be someone who has spent their entire life making sure no one ever truly sees them. Every relationship the narcissist has ever had has been carefully controlled, carefully managed, kept at exactly the right distance where people can admire the image but cannot penetrate the armor. And then here comes this person, this extraordinary, deeply perceptive human being who sees straight through every layer of defense. And instead of weaponizing what they see, instead of running, instead of being repelled, they draw closer. They offer warmth. They offer understanding. They offer the thing the narcissist has been starving for since childhood without ever being able to name it. They offer to be known and to still be chosen. That is not supply. That is salvation. And the narcissist becomes addicted to it in a way that is different from any previous addiction. Because this is not just about feeling good. This is about feeling real. This is about existing in a way that does not require constant.
This is so deep, because what he's saying is that the super empath is really offering. That's why I say it's a spiritual thing between the narcissist and the super empath. This is very spiritual. He used the word salvation. The ability of the super empath to see the narcissist wound, to see that brokenness, to see that hurt and that pain, and then decide to initially decide to love the narcissist anyway, seeing all of the ugliness. It kind of reminds me of that childhood story of Beauty and the Beast. Like, I've always loved that story, Beauty and the Beast. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was scared of him. She was too at first. But then, he was horrible. The beast was had a reason to be like that. You know what I'm saying? It kind of reminds me of that. And so he's saying that the narcissist become addicted to it because he's been seen, he's been loved, and everybody else runs away, but the super empath doesn't. Now I want to hear him talk about how the narcissist is being seen, is being loved, and the super empath is loving the narcissist anyway, but then we know what happens later on in the story. We know this what's going to happen is the narcissist is going to turn on the super empath. But let us listen and see, can we find out why? What happens?
Performance. Around the super empath, the narcissist catches glimpses of what it might feel like to simply be a person, a flawed, complicated, wounded person, but a real one. And those glimpses are intoxicating in a way that no amount of ordinary admiration ever could be. But here is the cruel machinery of narcissistic pathology. It does not allow the narcissist to receive this gift. It cannot. Because to truly receive what the super empath is offering, the narcissist would have to become vulnerable. They would have to lower.
Oh, so that's what happens. So when the super empath comes in, genuine, authentic, a true person, empathic, and accepts the narcissist, then the narcissist can't contain any of that. Because in order for the narcissist to contain it, the narcissist would have to be vulnerable. And they cannot be vulnerable. Because vulnerability will bring in intimacy, and they cannot be intimate. Let's listen. Oh my Jesus.
The armor, face the wound, acknowledge the damage, sit with the unbearable shame of who they really are beneath the construction. And their entire psychological structure has been built brick by brick since childhood, specifically to prevent that from ever happening. So they take without receiving, they consume without integrating, they feed on the super empath's depth without letting it change them. And eventually, inevitably, because their pathology is NOT, a choice, but a compulsion, they destroy the very thing they needed most. They betray the super empath.
Oh,
And the
there it
moment
is.
that betrayal is.
Hold on. There it is. There it is. They betray the super empath because they cannot allow themselves to be vulnerable. They can't allow it. He said this mask that they built brick by brick from the childhood. What's up, Ryan K? Who else is in here? Remington. Hello. Hello. So they can't be vulnerable, and they can't contain that love that the super empath brings in. They can't contain it because of, he used that word, their pathology. I thought that was deep. All right, let's listen.
Complete the moment the super empath finally sees clearly and walks away. Something happens inside the narcissist that they will spend the rest of their life trying to escape. Something cracks, something that cannot be repaired with new supply, new relationships, or new performances.
So basically, he's just saying
silence began.
When the super empath walks away, because we do, um, now this is what the video is about. There's something that's going to happen inside the narcissist that the narcissist will never recover from. And we're going to find out what this is. Hold on for 1 second.
Try Always Discreet for bladder protection with up to
I'm
40%
sorry, y'all.
less bulk than
Y'all know they
poise.
do the ads.
At
I'm
Spectrum,
sorry.
we believe you shouldn't have to choose between
I'm so
speed,
sorry for this.
reliability, and value.
We get on live stream.
And this time, nothing fills it. There is a concept in psychology called object constancy. It refers to the ability to maintain a stable, consistent sense of someone, to hold on to the full picture of who they are.
Oh my
their
God.
goodness, their love, their value. Even
So he's talking about object constancy. I think children learn about object constancy between the ages of 2 to 5, where, for example, they have a toy, their favorite toy, and they won't be able to bond with the toy. So eventually they toss the toy and, that type of thing. They cannot take one object and love that object and, turn 5 and 6 and 7 and say, because some people can, healthy people can, this was my toy when I was 2, and they have an emotional bond to the toy. These narcissists, they can't do that because they don't have what you call object constancy. That's why they always discarding people and replacing them with people. Listen.
when you are angry at them, even when they're not in the room, even when things are difficult, most people
What's up,
develop this
Drew?
capacity in early childhood. It is the reason a securely attached person can have a fight with someone they love and not conclude that the relationship is over. It is the reason they can miss someone without becoming frantic. It is the reason they can trust that love persists even through distance and conflict. The narcissist never developed this, not fully, not in any reliable way. And this is not a moral failing. It is a developmental wound, the result of early environments where love was conditional, inconsistent, or weaponized, where the people who were supposed to be safe were also the people who were dangerous, where attachment itself became something to fear rather than something to rest in. The narcissist learned early that people disappear, that love evaporates, that the only way to survive is to control everything and feel nothing. This is the foundation beneath everything they do. This is the bedrock of the pathology. Now imagine what happens when someone with this wound, someone who has never been able to trust that love is stable, someone who has built an entire fortress around their inability to believe they are genuinely lovable, suddenly encounters a super empath, someone whose love is not conditional, someone whose perception is so deep and whose compassion is so steady that it does not waver when the narcissist tests it. And the narcissist will test it over and over again, pushing, provoking, withdrawing, exploding, waiting to see if this person will finally do what everyone else did, finally leave, finally confirm the belief that has organized every relationship since childhood. That love is temporary, that being truly known leads to abandonment. But the super empath does not leave, not at first, not for a long time. And this breaks something open in the narcissist that they were never prepared for. Because every time the super empath stays, every time they respond to the narcissist's worst behavior with patience and insight rather than rejection, they are dismantling the narcissist's most foundational belief. They are providing evidence against the story the narcissist has told themselves since they were small and frightened. And learning that the world was not safe, they are whispering with every act of grace that maybe it is possible to be known and still be loved, that maybe the wound is not a death sentence, that maybe there is another way to exist. The narcissist cannot fully receive this message, but they hear it. Some part of them, buried deep beneath all the armor, hears it, and that part becomes desperately catastrophically attached. This is why the loss of the super empath is not like other losses for the narcissist. It is not the loss of a relationship. It is the loss of the only evidence they ever had that they might be capable of being loved for real. Every other person in the narcissist's life has loved the performance, has been dazzled by the mask, has responded to the curated image and
Hey,
the
Sierra.
strategic charm. Their love never felt real to the narcissist because the narcissist knew they were only loving a fiction. But the super empath loved something closer to the truth. And that made their love the only love that ever actually counted. When the narcissist betrays the super empath, when they do the thing their pathology compels them toward, the devaluation, the cruelty,
Did
the
y'all hear that part
infidelity,
right
the
there?
pattern of destruction.
When he said when they do the thing that their pathology makes them do. When they do the thing that their pathology brain makes them do, which is to gaslight, manipulate, and discard, when they do the thing that their pathology makes them do. There are so many different phases that the empath goes through. But the beautiful place where you can land at is learning what's going on in the brain of the narcissist. Why not just what is happening, but why is it happening? Not just what it is that they do, because we know what they do, but why is this happening? Some of us, our parents are narcissists, our children are narcissists, some of us, our bosses are narcissists, our lovers, our spouses, our best friends are narcissists. Some of us, our pastors are narcissists. Aren't you inquisitive like me? I want to know, and I've been like this for 6 years, almost 7 years now. Why are they doing what they are doing? What is that? A soft place for you to land is like he said, they can't help what they're doing. They all do the same things, but he's letting us know why. What's going on in the brain is insecurity, fear, jealousy, anger, confusion, etc. Okay, let's go on a little bit further. Y'all don't forget to like the live.
That eventually becomes too much, even for someone with the super empath's extraordinary capacity for compassion. They do not just lose a partner, they lose their only proof of their own lovability. They shatter the one piece of evidence that was slowly, quietly building a case for their own worth. And then comes something even more devastating. The super empath leaves with clarity, not in hysteria, not in rage, not in the kind of desperate, chaotic exit that allows the narcissist to construct a comfortable story afterward about how unstable the other person was, how they overreacted, how they were never really strong enough to handle someone like the narcissist. No, the super empath leaves the way people leave when they have done genuine inner work. They leave with their eyes open, with their voice steady, with the quiet, unshakable dignity of someone who finally chose themselves after a very long time of choosing someone else. And that kind of departure carries a verdict that the narcissist cannot argue with. In every previous relationship, when someone left, the narcissist could build a story around it. They were too insecure to handle my intensity. They left the image, but they never knew the real me. These stories protected the narcissist's core belief system. They allowed the narcissist to maintain the illusion that somewhere underneath everything, the real them was still lovable, still species. L, still deserving of genuine connection. The people who left just could not see it, but the super empath saw it, all of it.
Sell what your kids don't need and earn some
Okay, I
extra money
see
back. Quick snap.
I see Gary Reynolds, you fell down
Beneath
in the chat again. And so every time you come in, Gary, you scream a insult. And so I don't know like why you come here, because this is the thing, I'm gonna help you out. If I'm a terrible person, then you shouldn't want to be around any terrible person. Just go to a good old Christian live. There's no need for you to come over here if I'm a terrible person. If I'm a terrible person, why would you keep coming over here, Gary? Please go somewhere and sit down. Let's learn.
mask. The wound beneath the rage, the terrified, shame-soaked person beneath the
Did y'all just hear
grandiose.
this man say the wound beneath the rage? There is a wound beneath the rage. When these people are raging, there's a wound underneath that, but they can't get to it because they have no depth.
Performance. The super empath saw everything and chose to stay anyway. which means when the super empath finally chose to leave, they were not leaving an illusion, they were leaving the truth. And their departure did not say, I could not handle you. It said, I saw you completely. I understood you more deeply than anyone ever has. And after all of that, after knowing exactly who you are and exactly what you are capable of, I am choosing to walk away. That is not rejection. That is a verdict. And it is one the narcissist will hear echoing for the rest of their life. Let us talk about something that nobody in the narcissist's life will ever fully understand, something the narcissists themselves cannot articulate, cannot name, cannot bring themselves to consciously acknowledge, even in their most private moments. Because to name it would be to face it. And facing it would require a kind of courage that the narcissist's entire psychological structure has been specifically designed to prevent. After the super empath leaves, the narcissist is alone with themselves for the first time in perhaps their entire life. Not physically alone. They will make sure of that. They will find new people quickly. They always do. The next source of supply is usually already waiting in the wings before the super empath is even fully gone. The narcissist moves fast because stillness is dangerous. Stillness means silence, and silence means they have to hear themselves think. They have to feel what is actually happening inside them. And what is happening inside them is something so unbearable, so formless and enormous and suffocating that every instinct they have, Ives screams at them to run from it. But here is what is different this time. This time they cannot fully outrun it because the super empath.
What just happened? I don't know what. Hold on.
Did
Okay.
something to the narcissist that no one else ever managed to do. They got inside the fortress. Not
Now, I've never heard anybody say this before. And I got to find out. Hold on. Let me find out who this is to see. He said the super empath did something that nobody else was able to do before. The super empath got into the fortress of the narcissist. I think I understand where he's coming from with this thought. The super empath got in there because as a super empath, you can't keep us out. There's no way to keep us out. If you're in an intimate setting or with a one-on-one with us, this is what this is something that I've always said. Like if you're going to be around me, I'm going to know you, right? That's how I explain it. Or those are my thoughts. If you're going to be around me in my personal space, I'm going to know you. But when I say know you, it's not like a surface know you. Like it means like I'm going to pay attention to everything and not just what I see, but what I feel. Not just your spoken words, but what you don't say. Not even, you might not say anything at all. You might breathe a certain way, or you might sigh, or you might make a quick facial expression. Like, there's so many ways to know a person, and especially when they're silent. Yeah, you can't hide from a super empath. You just can't.
all the way. Not enough to truly transform the narcissist, but enough to breach the outer walls, enough to show the narcissist, even briefly, even in glimpses, what it felt like to be a real person in a real relationship with genuine depth and genuine stakes. And now that the super empath is gone, the narcissist knows the difference. They know the difference between what they had and what they are settling for now. They know the difference between being truly seen and being merely admired. And that knowledge is a kind of poison that spreads through every new relationship they enter. The new supply feels hollow. Dance is more than just using your body.
Hold
So
on,
much of
y'all.
dance is in your expressions.
So he say
Impacting has likely contributed. Not because the new
when they switch to the new supply, that the new supply feels hollow. This thing about narcissists and empath, y'all, it's not just about intimate relationships. This could be a relationship with a brother, a sister, a parent. It doesn't matter. It all works the same way. Don't matter if the narcissist is an intimate partner or a relative. Doesn't matter. They all do the same things. But when the empath is there as a child, as a sibling, or as a spouse, and when they, as a super empath, get fed up and they go no contact, as a super empath, the narcissist is going to be hurt. That's just the bottom line. And they're they're not going to recover. So I hope y'all like that portion of the video. I am going to share this particular one to my community wall if you want to go back and listen to it. It's in its entirety. I've been sharing these videos with quite a few people, and it is life changing. So anyway, y'all, kisses and hugs. Remington said no contact is the greatest weapon. Yes. No contact is the greatest weapon because soon as you separate from that narcissist, you begin to get your energy, pull your energy back to yourself. As soon, I'm talking about, it starts immediately. And then every day, and then every week, and then every month, you get closer and closer into yourself because they're feeding off of you. They just like this video. It's like what he said. They're feeding off of you. So anyway, y'all have a good old night, okay? I will see y'all tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll do a mukbang and a video. It's the greatest no taken under. It's like a bully, okay? All right, y'all. Good night, guys. Let me go get me some pasta. Bye.